everyone, this is Mamta. I hope you all are doing great. So, if you are like me who loves reading but sometimes feel like there is not enough time to get through all the books, or if you just want to develop reading habit, then this video is going to help you. Okay, if you have decided to read books to develop reading habit, then believe me, this decision will be the best decision in your entire life. Because this single habit has changed many people's lives, and it has changed my life, and it can change your life as well. So in this video, I will share some tips and techniques to read more books in less time, and I will share that how I read my books and my experience, that how I developed reading habit. I will share my journey of developing reading habit, reading books. So let's start. First, you have to decide that how many books you want to read. Set clear goals. By mean saying this, that is how many books you want to read in a week, in a month, in a year. For example, suppose you want to read 24 books in a year. Then you have to read 2 books in a month. Okay, and you are someone who wants to develop reading habit, and if you want to improve yourself, then I believe 2 books in a month is not a big deal. Okay, to read 2 books in a month, you have to decide your taste. Like according to your interest, based on your interest, you have to decide your taste. Like what kind of books you like to read. That books can be fiction, non-fiction, stock market books, business, according to business books, and self-development books, money, these kind of, and novels books, storytelling books, love story books. So what is your interest? You have to decide. Okay, nobody will tell you that what is your interest. You have to decide. Okay, for example, my taste is I don't like novels and love story books. I like love story books, but you know what, this is something that will not help me in anywhere. That's why I always prefer to read self-help books. You can say here as well, I only have self-help books. I have read this book that is not a self-help. I think men are from Mars and women are from Venus. This is something, that book is different, but most of the time I read only non-fiction books. I mean self-development, self-help books I read. So in this way you have to decide your taste. Next tip I will give, that is make reading a daily habit. It's okay if you are reading 1 or 2 page each day. It's okay if you are reading 15 or 20 minutes only. It's totally fine. In the beginning, it's also a great way to develop reading habit. Okay, in the first, I started reading this book. And you know what? This book has around 300 pages, and it took me 4 months to complete this single book. Okay, because that time I was in the journey of develop reading habit. Okay, so I used to read only 1 or 2 pages each day. That's why it took me 4 months to complete this single book. Okay, so it's totally fine if you are reading 1 or 2 pages each day, because you are in the journey of developing reading habit. So it's totally fine. At that time, my target was to read daily. Okay, that time my target was not to read more. That's why I'm saying, if in this starting, it's okay if you are reading 1 or 2 pages each day, but make sure that you are reading every single day. Okay, next thing I will say, that decide a fixed time to read. it not should be the case that sometimes you are reading in the morning, sometimes you are reading after lunch, sometimes you are reading in the evening, and sometimes you are reading after dinner. So this will not work, I think, because you are just a beginner in this habit. Because if you will do this, then ऐसे तो आप procrastinate करने लग जाओगे. You will start procrastinating this reading habit. Okay, so until you develop your reading habit, you have to decide a fixed time to read. Okay, when I was beginner, when I started reading books, then I used to read in the afternoon. Okay, because that was the time then I used to get time only. After that, when I developed this reading habit, then I started reading in the morning. And but morning is something like I cannot read more. I can just read 4 to 5 pages because we are girls, so we have to do household works in the morning. So that's why I cannot read much in the morning. I read only 4 to 5 pages, and after that in day I read a book like 40 to 50 pages. Another effective technique I will give, that is skimming. Okay, it's not necessary that every paragraph, every page of the book requires the same level of attention. You can skim as well. That is, you find, if you are finding that this paragraph, this example is not important, then you can skim as well, especially in non-fiction books. When I read, if I am finding that this example is not useful, not important that much, or these vocabulary, these words are not important to remember, then I skim those words. And it is not a bad habit. I think many professors, many authors also say that if you are not finding something important, then you can skim that as well. So yeah, I used to skim, and I still skim is if something is not important for me. Okay, next technique is I will say that don't forget to highlight. If you are reading and you found something important, something interesting, then don't forget to highlight. It's really important. When I started reading, then I used to don't highlight. Like in starting 2 or 3 books, I didn't highlight any word, any paragraph, any sentence. I didn't. But then I understood that after some time, I understood that it is important. Really, if you suppose you have finished this book, and after some time you want to revise this book, because this book you are understanding that this book is important, but again you cannot read whole book, but with the help of highlights you can read, you can revise your important things that is written in a book. So that's why I say highlights also are important. You know what, when I started reading books, then my English was so poor. I was not able to understand author's perspective. That time I was like, कहना क्या चाहते हो भाई?
अरे कहना क्या चाहते हो?
I cannot translate every single word in Hindi. You know, if I will do this, then it would take 6 months or 1 year to complete a single book. Okay, I cannot translate every single word and sentence and paragraph. So after some time, I find out a solution that if I am reading this book, then I will find out a audio book of this book. Then I used to listen that audio book. And audio book is something that you can read anywhere and anytime. If I am doing household chores works, and if I am traveling, so I can read, I can listen anywhere audio book. So I used to read first audio. यार मैं read क्यों बोल रही हूँ? I used to listen audio book first, then I used to read books. So it helps us to understand a book's perspective, author's perspective. Okay, this technique is really effective. I personally prefer to read physical copies and hard copies, and it's totally my choice, and it's up to you that what you prefer. Okay, like if you prefer soft copies, so you can read through that as well. And remember, your goal is to read and to learn through books. Your goal is not to read faster and more. Okay, because books, this habit is something that you cannot do forcefully. This is a habit that you have to adopt naturally. Um for example, when you were child, so at first you did not started eating 4 or 5 chapatis, rotis. First you started eating piece of roti, then half roti, then one roti, then two roti. Gradually you started eating, like at once you didn't started eating 4 or 5 chapatis. That's what I'm trying to understand you, that first try to read 1 or 2 pages, and once you become comfortable at 1 or 2 pages, then start expanding your ability to read books, to read pages. Like directly don't jump to 20 or 30 pages. Like one example I also have, every day, not nobody reminds you to do brush, to take bath, to eat, to sleep. Nobody reminds you. You do that naturally. This is what I'm trying to say. You have to adopt a reading habit from your heart. Okay, I have given all the tips, and end of the video I will say that if you also have any tip, then don't forget to tell me in the comment box. And that's all for today's video. Let's start today from reading. And yeah, this techniques helped me a lot, and it will help you as well. And reading habit is something that I really like. This is a habit that one of my best habit, and I really like this one habit have changed my life. Really, I was a very negative person, and my mindset was a very wrong way, and I am someone who adopt things very easily. If someone is saying this thing, and if it makes sense to me, then I adopt those things. And non-fiction books really helped me a lot to improve as a person, to improve my mentality, my mindset. So yeah, this habit is amazing. Just start reading from today, and see you in next video. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy.